Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be filming what I read or reviewing the books that I read in 2019. 4th anniversary of my YouTube channel. I haven't been like super active on there because I've been trying to figure out what content I want to do, and it's literally been a struggle, but I've pretty much figured out what content I'm doing now. So yeah, so today's gonna be my first video of like on booktube. So my goal this year was to read 24 books. 24 books, and I read 33, and I started reading in July, so I feel like that's really good. So I started this video doing my reading from July to August, and so I'm just gonna insert the clips of that because that's so much easier. We're just gonna go to that clip. So I read The Upside of Falling Down by Rebecca Crane. I rated this book 4 stars. So this book is about this girl who she is the sole survivor. Yeah, she's a sole survivor in a plane crash, and she wakes up without any memory of who she is or what has happened. And it's set in Scotland, if I'm like remembering correctly. I'm pretty sure it's in Scotland. I really enjoyed it. Just very nice, upbeat. I like the twist that happened. I like the ending. I think it was just a really like fun book. It was pretty humorous. I understand the critiques of the book. I understand why people didn't enjoy some literary choices, like the ending and like the plot twist. I do get that, but I enjoyed it still. I think it was fun. So I had a great time with that. 4 out of 5 stars. And I read that. That was an ebook I read. Okay, then I read Internment by Samir Ahmed. This one, oh my god, I just went into this, so I'm like, oh, I wish I would have recorded this, but I rated this 2 out of 5 stars. I did not like this one. So this one is about this girl who is Muslim and Desi, and she and her family and other Muslim families or other Muslim people in America gets into an internment camp. And I just did not like it. I don't think that the author made this situation believable within the story, like within the world that she was creating. I think that I totally see how that could happen in America. I just don't think that the writer made us believe that that the way that she wrote it, it would happen that way. And I just didn't enjoy it. I don't like how she focuses on Nazis because it takes us a little bit out of like this American setting. Not that there aren't Nazis. I mean, there's neo-Nazis and there's people that are Nazi sympathizers, right? But like this idea of a whole Nazi movement, it seems a little like out of touch with our current American reality. I think that she should have focused on more of the alt-right and things that are a little bit more prevalent in American society, because I think it would have just added like a better touch to the book, even though I still think the book could happen, sort of. Some of the choices were just, I don't know how to explain it other than realistic. You have to read the book to know what I'm talking about. For you out there that did read the book and know what I mean, it's just like with the romance, I just did not like it. I gave it 2 stars off the premise alone. The premise was amazing. If Samir Ahmed would have written the book better, it would have been a phenomenal book. I just don't think that, I think she just missed the mark. It was so bad. I don't know if I would read Samir Ahmed again. I feel like I wasted some time. Like, I wanted to read the book because I felt like it was a very important book. I expected it to be a straight 5 out of 5 stars, and it just didn't happen for me. So I'm just like, ugh, why did I waste my time? So 2 stars. Wasn't great. Will not read that again. Will not reread. Next one, Training School for Negro Girls by Camille Acker. So Camille Acker graduated from Howard University. So we're HBCU girls. Love that. I go to Grambling State University, so I find that to be amazing. So Training School for Negro Girls was it's a collection of short stories about black girls and like black women, and I just found it to be really good. There were some stories, specifically the ones about some women, that I didn't particularly enjoy, but overall as a collective I enjoyed the stories. I mean, I think that they were very realistic, and I felt, not that I've had those experiences, but I feel like I could see them happening. Like, they seemed real, like the real experiences of black girls and black women. I even say the rating, I think I said 4 out of 5 stars. Yeah, 4 out of 5 stars. Next book was I Woke Up Dead at the Mall by Judy Shehan. I gave this book 2 stars. I'm surprised I gave this 2 stars. Probably the ending. I read this a minute ago. This book, parts of it stuck with me. So this book is about this girl who wakes up dead at the mall, at the Mall of America. And the Mall of America is basically a place where all teenagers that have been killed, where they go to, and they have the choice of moving on or kind of becoming in like a sleep state. And I thought it was cute and I thought it was fun. I'm pretty sure it's the ending that had me like, what is going on? Like the last like 80 pages could have been cut down to like maybe 30. So yeah, the second half of the book just was like dragging, but the first half of the book was good. I want to change my rating to like a 3 stars. I think that a 3 stars is so much more fair, because I gave Internment a 2 star, and they're just not on the same level. Like I did enjoy I Woke Up Dead at the Mall. Would I recommend you reading it? Not particularly. I mean, it's a fun read, but for a college student, I don't know how much of enjoyment you would get out of it. It was cool. It's fine. I read I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter. I listened to this one, and I read it, but I listened. It was an audiobook. And I rated this 4 out of 5 stars. This book was so much more character driven than plot driven, but I really enjoyed it. I like reading books that show different perspectives and stories that, you know, I might not have the perspective to see and understand. And so I genuinely liked this book. It was about this girl whose sister is killed, and she goes down the path of like not her death but like of her life, and she finds out that she wasn't as sweet and innocent and this perfect Mexican daughter as her and her family believed her to be. And then it's just kind of like about her experience. It's a lot about like mental health and the mix of culture, of different cultures, about, you know, having an immigrant parents. I think it was a really good book. I don't think I'd read it again. It was a little longer, but I enjoyed it. I think that you would specifically love this if you're a part of the Latinx community, because this was great for representation. But overall, anybody, I think that I would recommend this book. It was pretty good. I read Revived by Kat Patrick. Bruh, I gave this a 1 star. This book was horrible. I don't know how to say it. Okay, so basically it's about this girl who gets revived. I don't even remember how many times. Like, it was so unforgettable. Like, maybe 7 times, something like that. There's this girl who's a part of this government drug program, and about like that revive people from like this bus accident and other things into, and you're just like, I mean, I could have got into that, but sometimes you're just like, what the heck is going on? Like, literally me was like, what the heck is going on right now? Didn't like it. Don't recommend it. Really a waste. Like, it sounded great, but execution was horrible. So, didn't love that. Then I read Troublemaker, Surviving Hollywood and Scientology by Leah Remini. I gave this book a 4 stars. Really? This is why you go back and you revisit things, because it's just like, I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna give that a 3 stars. Sorry, Leah. Okay, let me tell you. So this is about Leah Remini and her life. She's an actress, and like basically like her. It was a memoir, but it was also about like her experiences in Scientology, because that's like a part of her life. But it did have a lot of like information on Scientology, which you guys don't know this about me, but I'm actually super interested in learning about cults. I think that they're just super interesting because it's so easy for you to like end up in one. And so yeah, I just find it interesting. But Leah Remini is hilarious, and so she's the one that reads her audiobook, and it is amazing. She's funny. I liked the information on Scientology. I liked hearing the stories about her family and about her childhood, about her coming into fame, her experiences in Scientology before she was famous, after she was famous. The ending dragged for me a little bit. The ending is what I thought would be the spiciest, like her life outside of, after leaving Scientology, but it actually kind of like, I don't know like how much I feel like she delved into that. I feel like she kind of held back to an extent. So I would say 3 stars. I enjoyed it. I recommend it. Especially if you like love Leah Remini or you love Scientology, I think you'll really enjoy the book. So yeah, 3 stars. Oh my gosh, so this is my favorite book. This is We Set the Dark on Fire by Taylor K. Mejia. I love this book. This book is like, I'm gonna tell you as little about it as possible because you should just read it, because like you have to read. It's amazing. 5 out of 5 stars. I love this book. So this is probably like gonna be like my favorite book of 2019 because it's like my favorite book forever. So this book is about a girl. It's following this girl who, it starts off being about this girl who goes to the school, and it's so hard to describe. This book is so, every time I try to describe this book, I'm like, how do I describe this? So it's about this girl who lives in a society where there are, it's a polygamous relationship. You have 2 women, 1 man, and so we have our primeras and our segundas, and we're following the story of our primera. The primeras are supposed to be like, you know, very reserved, very intelligent, super career driven. They're just, you know, like the right hand man to their partners. And then we have the segundas, who are known for, you know, carrying the children. They're known for being lovers and very beautiful, very touchy feely, very emotion driven. And it follows the story of our primera. But this book is centered in Medio, and there is another group of people that live like on the other side of the island, and they are like basically like undesirables, and she's actually from that part of the island. We find this out, I'm not telling you anything. So we find that so she's actually from the other part of the island, and it's about her journey going through these experiences. This book is so timely because it's really about immigration and, you know, how we view humans and people and our relationships. It is beautiful. I love this book. I was surprised to see the reviews because a lot of people didn't love this book, but I think it was an amazing book. Everybody should read it. Can't wait for the next part. It's a duology, so I'm waiting. Then I read Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. This is my second time reading this book. I read this in high school. I love this book until I get to the end, and I always forget. Like, I remember, there was something about this I didn't like, and it's the ending. I hate the ending. I think the ending is such a cop-out. I think it's ridiculous. I don't think it's as good as the rest of the book. I think it ruins the rest of the book, and it makes me not want to read any of the sequels or any of that other stuff. So what did I rate this? I rated this a 3 out of 5 stars, just because of how strong the beginning and middle of the book is. It's the ending where you're like, what is going on? So read at your own risk. The next one I read was This is Where the World Ends by Amy Zhang. Okay, I rated this 2 out of 5 stars. This is about a girl and a guy who are like best friends. The girl has very like sporadic behavior. They go on adventures together, and then things happen, right? Problematic AF. Trigger warning, there is suicide in this book. I don't know what else to say. Don't read it. Like, it's genuinely, like, sorry to the author, it's just genuinely not even worth talking about. Like, it was not good. It was very problematic. I can't tell you how problematic it was unless I spoil it for you. I don't even remember if we know about the spoiler in the beginning or if it's an actual spoiler, so I'm just going to completely say read at your own risk. Not that great. And moving on. Next book. So this was The Cure for Dreaming by Kat Winters. I actually really enjoyed this book. What did I give it? Yeah, I gave it a 4. Like, now thinking about it, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I think that I want to read this again. Oop. Having now read the entire book, I want to read it again. I think that it was just a really interesting book. It's about this girl. It's kind of like a historical fiction. It is historical fiction. I'm trying to think of what this is the 1900s, like literally 1900, and it's about this girl who is seen as a little bit rebellious. That rebellion may or may not be actually true, right? And she goes to this show where she becomes hypnotized, and the father makes the hypnosis hypnotize her again, but he hypnotizes her into seeing the world for what it really is. And I don't know what else to say but that, so you guys can figure out what that really means. But it was really good. I genuinely liked the ending. I think that the ending was very realistic. I mean, I wanted a fluffy, tightly wrapped ending. I just didn't get that, but that's okay because it was still like really, really good. So if you like realistic endings, if you like, you know, even if you don't necessarily like historical fiction, I think you would enjoy this. I think it was super interesting, and I liked it a lot. It was a good book. I would totally read more of Cat Winters, and I would read the novel again. So yeah, it was great. Then I read Is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me by Mindy Kaling. I listened to this. Little bit disappointed, I'm not gonna lie. I think that it was kind of boring, super boring. There were some funny moments. I rated this like a 3 stars. Yeah, like there were some funny moments, but it was like kind of boring. Not particularly bad. Read it if you like Mindy Kaling, or don't. Yeah, don't know what to say. Sorry, Mindy. Then I read The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. So this is about a Jamaican American girl, and it's the last day of her being in America before her and her family gets deported, and she meets this Korean American boy, and it's about this like last day. And I really liked this book because I felt like it was a great it was just like a great commentary of society. I think that it was interesting talking about immigration and like the intersection of cultures. I think that it was super interesting in talking about how your small decisions have an impact on someone's entire life, and how everything is kind of connected and how everyone is connected. I think that the book is super cool because it goes from different perspectives. It starts at the girl's perspective, then it goes to the guy's perspective, and it has these other little different perspectives that end up being connected in the end. I think it was a really interesting book. I would read it again, and I would totally read more from Nicola Yoon. So I would recommend. What did I rate this? Didn't even tell you guys the rating. I rated this I read this a 5 out of 5 stars. Yeah, okay, 5 stars. I would definitely read this again. I would continuously read this throughout like different points of my life. So it was great. And I read What is the Bible? How an Ancient Library of Poems, Letters, and Stories Can Transform the Way You Think and Feel About Everything by Rob Bell. I rated this a 5 out of 5 stars. This was a very important book for me to read. It was about what the Bible is, how we should be interpreting it, how we should be reading it and looking at it. And I think everyone should I think that anybody that is Christian should read this, because I think that it gives a very awesome perspective on, you know, what the Bible is. And I don't want to talk too much about religion in here, because I feel like I want everybody to feel safe and welcome in this space. So that's all I have to say about it. You guys can read it and check it out if you like it. Okay, so then I read The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian. This was 4 out of 5 stars. When they said Indian, I thought that they were talking about like an Indian from India, but they were talking about Native American people, like indigenous Americans, and so I was actually surprised at that wording. But the writer is Sherman Alexie, and I don't know much about this, but I've heard he's pretty toxic and problematic, and I just didn't know that before reading the book. I read the book because of Peter Mon. Peter likes books on BookTube. He talks about this book, and so he said it was like his favorite book, and that everybody should read it because it's so short and stuff. And I just I thought it was like cool. Like not my favorite book. I wouldn't read it again. I liked parts of it. I think that it was a very like interesting I think it was an interesting story that needed to be told. I just don't think that like it was like my favorite story of all time. Yeah, it was fine. Cool. I rated it, I'm literally going back, I rated it a 4 out of 5 stars, but I'm really thinking a 3 out of 5 stars is better, because I'm not going to reread it. Yeah, just I can't. I mean, not never, but like I just don't see it happening. Alright, so the next one I read was The Selection by Kiera Cass. So this is a part of the Selection series. It's basically about this girl who lives in a society where they have a caste system based on number, and the number that you are is the job that you have. Low-key Hunger Games. And there's a royal family who has a prince who needs to get married. They're like in a competition. Like it's a competition game sort of. That they're in to win the prince. It's on TV too. It's okay. I don't know. Like I like the first book, but I started reading into the second book and the rest of the series. So because of that, I wouldn't recommend. Because yeah, the first book's great, but the rest of it is like super long and dragging, and it takes forever for him to make a decision. And so I think that the Kira cast ruined the series. I think it could have been amazing. I think that the book would have been better as a standalone if they would have combined book 1 and 3 and just did that. Because I just. No, I can't recommend it. Now that I know what the rest of the series is like, I can't get on board. And then I read The Love and Lies of Rukhsana Ali. I gave this a 1. You guys are gonna hate me. You guys are gonna drag me. I gave this a 1 star because I hated it. It was a terrible book. This is about a girl who is Pakistani, and she has a girlfriend. Her family catches her with the girlfriend and lies and tricks her into going to Pakistan and tries to marry her off. I hate the book. I hate it because I think that it is so problematic. I think that her parents are horrible, and it's not that they're horrible people, but they did a horrible thing, and they need to be punished for it. Whether that means you don't talk to them anymore, whether that means they are mandated to go to prison, or they need to do some type of treatment facility, because what they did was very unacceptable behavior. I think that the way that the situation is handled in the end is disgusting, and I don't like it, and I can't stand behind it. I think that you shouldn't just, love people because they're your family, and that's all I have to say on that. And that's that on that 1 star. Do not recommend. So here's editing Maya. So it's fine to love your family, but it's not fine to completely excuse their toxic behavior, especially because she was a minor. I felt like the people around her, like the adults around her, should have protected her better, especially when they had the ability to do so. So you have to read the book, and I'm trying not to be spoilery, so I'm not going in depth into everything, but that's just how it goes. I read Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Loved it. I'm not gonna go into the synopsis of the Harry Potter books. I'm so sorry, I can't. But I loved it. I rated this a 4 out of 5 stars. Amazing. Really liked it. The endings are always great. I read Afterworlds by Scott Westerfeld. I really liked it. So this book is it's a dual book, right? So it's about this girl named Darcy, and about her writing Afterworlds and her experiences becoming a debut author. And then, so it's like 1 chapter is that, and then the second chapter is about the actual book of Afterworlds. So it goes back and forth. And the actual book of Afterworlds is about this girl who's in a terrorist attack. She's the only survivor in a terrorist attack, and she gets there by playing dead, but in playing dead, she ends up going into the underworld. And so it's about that. And I just think that the book was amazing, super interesting if you want to write novels, you want to get kind of into that YA, world. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I can't say anything else, but I enjoyed it. Cool book. I would definitely read more by Scott Westerfeld. I'm actually listening to The Uglies, and I'm very much enjoying it. So yeah, it was a really good book. And then I read Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets and Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Now I'm reading Harry Potter, and I don't even know what the 4th one is, but I'm reading the 4th one right now. I think it's something fire. I don't know. Don't drag me. I'm sorry, but I'm reading the 4th one right now. So we're back from that clip. So after that, I read God's Will and Other Lies by Penny Micklebury. I gave that book a 5 star. I read that so long ago, literally in September. That's so crazy. I read this book so long ago. So basically, this is a short story. This is a short story collection about different Black women and their experiences, facing different trauma. It was really, really good. I'm not gonna lie, I remember bits and pieces of the story because it's not like a full novel, I don't remember the entire thing. But I really did like it. It was great. And then I read The Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. So this is the series, the Ugly series. And I actually rated this a 4 stars. I really like this one. So basically this is about a society where you have your ugly people and you have your pretty people, and you can get the surgery once you turn a certain age. And so it's about experiencing that, and this one girl I don't even know how to describe it. I don't remember if I can't say because I don't know if it was a spoiler. But basically, there's this girl that we're following through that journey. And I actually really, really enjoyed the first book. Like, it was really, really good. But when I got to that second book, Pretties, I hated it. I gave this a 2-star. It just fell off for me. The characters started acting completely differently than what we had originally, like, become accustomed to. Like, we just got to know them, we know their personalities, and now, like, they're doing things completely out of character. So I didn't really like that, so I couldn't get on board. So that was a 2. Then I read the Seven Husbands of Evelyn, Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I actually just got this book for Christmas. I really like this book because it was obviously, like, it's a stan. Everybody loved, not everybody, but like a lot of people love this book. So it's basically about this movie star named Evelyn Hugo. She's like this huge star, and about her 7 husbands and explaining those relationships. And it was just like so good, and I really, really enjoyed it. Like, I binge read it. It made me cry, and I really liked it. Obviously, I gave that a 5-star. Then I read With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. I didn't like it that much. Like, there was anything like wrong with it, but it was just kind of like slow to me, and I wasn't like super interested in the characters. This was, yeah, a 3-star for me. Like, it was fine, but like I would probably not read Elizabeth Acevedo again. And it's basically about like this teen mom who is into cooking. That's it. I didn't get it. I mean, I wanted to read it because it's like a story of Afro-Latina, and I think those stories are important. I just particularly like didn't fall in love with this story. Then I read The Immortalists by Chloe Benjamin, and I didn't love that. So The Immortalists is about these 4 siblings who find out their death date and like figuring out like their whole lives after that. But I just didn't love it. Like, I could not get on board with any of the characters, and the way that they end up dying is like a cop-out to me. Like, I feel like it could have been constructed so much better. Like, the premise is amazing, but like actually the storytelling like wasn't that great. So didn't love that. Gave that a 2 stars. I feel like I wasted my time reading it because I was so excited about it. And then I reread my favorite book, We Set the Dark on Fire, which I talked about already. And then I read The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. I give this a 3 star. I feel like it was 3 stars. Like, I enjoyed it while I was reading it, but when I look back on the book, I'm like, it was okay. I loved the ending, and I do feel like I was surprised for part of it. So I would definitely pick up some more Ruth Ware books, and I do want to get more into like the mystery thriller. I didn't even explain what it was about. So it's literally about this nanny who goes to goes to become a nanny in this smart house, and like weird things start happening, literally. And she's writing from prison because they think that like she's killed one of the children. That's what the book's about. So yeah, it was like okay. Then I read Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey. I really, really like this book. So this was a 4 stars. There was points in the book where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting so irritated. Oh my gosh, I'm loving it. And I was like going back and forth, which is why I feel like a 4 star was really, really good. I would definitely read the book again. I liked the relationship between the 2 characters. Like Georgie, I really love. Like, I didn't expect to like her that much. I kind of thought she was going to be a joke because she's like a literal clown. But I actually really enjoyed her. So it's really the story about this clown named Georgie, and she's kind of like the younger sister, like the child of the town. And then it's about like the lead baseball player who is like best friends with Georgie's brother, and it's about them figuring their whole thing out. I feel like fake dating, you'll like that. I really liked it. Yeah, that's all I can say. And that's by Tessa Bailey. And then I read The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, and I gave this a 3 stars. Like, it was fine. So it was about these 2 people that hate each other. One is the sister of the bride, and one is the brother of the groom. And so their family gets some type of like sickness during the wedding, and so they both have to go on the honeymoon together, and they hate each other. So it's about that, and I love that. Like, that sounds amazing, but when it came down to like actually like falling in love with like characters and like being really invested, like it just didn't happen for me. And then there was like a whole subplot. Like the main plot was great, but all the other like subplots that were happening were like, why did we, like, these were choices, like, and why did we make them? Like, I'm not understanding. So I don't know. It was okay. 3 stars, right? And then the last book I read, I literally read it today. I got it for Christmas, was Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell, and I gave that 4 stars. It was really, really cute. Like, I don't have much to say about it. Like, it was a cute graphic novel. It's about these kids at the pumpkin patch, and it's like their last time being there before they go off to college. It was so cute, really predictable, honestly, like very, very predictable, but like really cute, and I love the illustration. So that was my video on the books that I read in 2019. And I'm going to be doing a whole video on like my 2020 book goals. So stay tuned for that. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!